Most disturbing videos circulating the internet. Number 1. Strange visitor. Last year, someone called Kiana shared something she had experienced, who claimed to have had weird things happen to her for a while. She claimed that about 3 years ago, I took this photo and realized there was a face in the background. People said it was my younger sibling or someone else at home, and it was. It was fun, basic flashcards, getting people in the dark, using for our PC. People thought it was alive, and I never was. The photo she's talking about in the circle, I've made picture bright so you guys can see what's behind her. But next creepy thing happened during this video recording is really disturbing. But mostly, it's happening here, and they're like my mind shutting off when I knew I had them on, or things moving right, my eyes. But tonight, I just so happened to be recording when I was a cute video of me petting my cat. And then you see my cat job. This is up to you. Number 2. Afterlife. In 2004, model and fashion designer Lauren Scott was found dead in my apartment. She died by hanging herself with improvised satin noose. This death is tragic incidents that were nothing short of chilling. She was known for rescheduled Facebook posts and tweets from her audience. After her death, her accounts were still sending out updates, and her PR team did little to stop it before any sort of backlash. The strangest part about the story lies with her scheduled Facebook post after hours her body was discovered. This image was published to a page showing dresses hanging from a tree. It shocked many people, and also another celebrity death hoax. However, it wasn't. This was a very real, and strangely, the image that she had scheduled to upload was given circumstances, nothing short of unnerving. Number 3. African Shaban. African Shaban performing levitation. The very idea that we may be able to perform otherworldly or secret is an amazing thought, whether or not we truly can. However, it remains to be proven. Still, there is no denying that what we see in this video is intriguing and convincing. Imagine believing one thing your whole life, and then having it turn around, right before your eyes. Not as cool as it is, the shaman only Medicaid, a few inches off the ground, so that likely isn't enough to qualify him for X-Men membership. Number 4. Presenting Oscar.
Oscar, the first human modular prototype.
Imagine a plug-and-play organism that comes to life and evolves with every new parts have detached. The very thought of just attaching limbs and organs and various appendages together, then having to work in unison to get to the ideal environment is quite unbelievable.
Now he's looking for the optimal temperature, which is 37 degrees.
And that's because it is the modular body is a self-proclaimed science fiction story featuring Oscar, the world's first living organism built by biologist Cornelius Glassman, and has been created and marketed as if it were real. Years down the line, something like this might become an actual possibility, but until then, we are safe from self-aware lifetimes hell-bent on wiping out their human creators. We hope. Number 5. Strange Peak. In this video, you can see as a teacher is teaching his online class. The teacher would made a claim he was home alone, but not teaching his class, and disturbingly, an unidentified pale face can be seen peeking around the corner behind. Throughout the video, the man can be seen peeking around his shoulders if you hear something, but never actually see anything. Eventually, even man, closed the door seems to feel uneasy. Later in the video, upon the request of his students, the teacher would pick up his laptop to show he and his dog were the only ones. To this day, it's unclear whether it's intruder or something else.
Estudiando matemáticas, el primer parcial, el primer tetra, vamos a ver, filosofía de las matemáticas. Hola. Estoy solo, estoy con mi perro. Por ahí, en ocasiones, las llamadas paradojas. ¿Alguien sabe qué es una paradoja?
Number 6. Trapped inside a catacomb. This video shows a man exploring the Paris catacomb, which is a place very well known for causing people to get lost. Essentially, the most complex series of tunnels in the world. Definitely not somewhere you want to find yourself exploring without experience. The video shows this man getting into a panic. He doesn't know where to go to get out. Man has never found. His camera later was, with no traces, in the direction. Occasionally he stops to photograph, which means very, very deep inside that kind of to basically say what he's seeing very deep inside the catacombs. Other than the point of view shots, catacombs for centuries. So it is possible with these paintings that we need to be able to breathe louder and louder, as if something was scaring the species frightened. Visually stops, perhaps trying to decide which way to run among all the many different corridors. We use breathing gets louder and louder, as if something was scaring. He's fighting these visual stops, perhaps trying to decide which way to run them on all the many different corridors. Faster and faster and faster and deeper into the catacomb. Number 7. Short Time Tragedy. This video was posted to YouTube in 2013. The title of it is A Couple Who Drowns in Front of the Camera in a 7-minute video. This shows the tragic turn of events that occurred while a 22-year-old by the name of Haifa Mohammed died, and his newly wedded wife, whose name was unable to locate Spencer 1 year upon. This cell phone footage was taken by himself, as he propped up on our film their embrace video. Everything seems to be going just fine, but the two are having what seems like a great time for them to slip. Afterward, you can see him attempting to his wife. Desperation, fortunate, dragged into the water as well. Fighting for survival. They try their hardest to make it back to shore together, but that proved to be futile. After about a minute or so, panic and screaming, they both submerge, never to return to the surface for the remainder of the video. The unfortunate part of this is that I think that they probably had a chance to both make it back to shore. This video goes to show that no matter who you are, you absolutely need to ensure that when spending time with anybody, whether it be a lake, river or ocean or creek, it's imperative that different classes are taken, or that you know how to swim on your own. Number 8. Jaime Masters. Back in 2010, there existed a Buffy the Vampire Slayer called The Bodyguard. It seems to have been thriving for quite a few years, with posts dating way back in 2004. Jaime Masters, a play on the name James March. There's an actor on the show. Wayne is born that contained over 40,000 poses. Everything seems fine here, right? Well, those are things takes a pretty big one at when you realize that the forum had only one active member, Jaime Masters herself. YouTube, these conversations were simply her talking to herself, and the topics ranged anywhere from, say, meetups to the show schedule. The peculiar thing about this map that comes with it, to keep up with the number of topics that were found on the forum, Jaime would have to post it once every 84 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 6 years alone. No matter her motive, it's just a little strange theories have been thrown up that Jaime is a crazy secret man, and others believe that this entire thing was run by a bot. This actually leads to my next point. Unfortunately, in October of 2010, an article called "The 7 Most Unintentionally Creepy Places on the Internet" was posted by the website Crack. And as you might have guessed, this board was on that list. What ensued afterward was an endless barrage of people storming the board, posting vulgarities or other unrelated, undesirable content. It's estimated a total of 36,753 people flooded the place in a short span of 24 hours. After logging in and being surprised with the endless barrage of posts, Jaime ended up shutting up the board, casting it into internet oblivion. It turns out that Jaime had used this forum as a sort of news hub for the show, so she could keep up with articles about meetups and conventions. The thing is, how big of a fan you really have to be to make 40,000 posts yourself. Number 9. Hell in Paradise Valley. Last week, police were called to the residence of a man living in Phoenix, Arizona, to arrest a woman named Jacqueline Clare, who was involved in a disturbing stalking incident with the man. Allegedly turned violent through an online local dating service. Through this, they hit it off quickly and went on only one day, as far as to send them upwards of over 260,000, 5,000 text messages, and he claims that she said anywhere from 400 to 500 texts per day. Most of these messages were very disturbing. She made insane claims such as David said that she would be in his blood and that she wants his body parts. It doesn't even stop there. She then began to vigorously stalk him, showing up at his place of work and claiming that she was his wife. What finally led to her arrest was when the man was out of the country. She showed up at his house during this time frame, and he was only able to find out who to where this camera was placed throughout his property. After witnessing her in his house, he called the police, who promptly showed up to find her there. In her car that was parked in the driveway was a butcher knife, and she could have very likely had a disturbing intention for having it. She claims that she never intended to hurt Demand and is facing intimidating, stalking, and harassment charges. Another part of this that I'd like to share with you though, recently an interview has been released apart from prison, where she made statements that she was in love with him, and nobody quite gets it. Take a look.
With him, did you feel a spark immediately? Talk about how you felt.
I felt like I met my soulmate and everything was just the way it was, and I thought we would just do what everybody else did and we would just like get married and everything would be fine, but that's not what happened.
65,000 text messages. That's like
That's
next
it?
level stuff.
To me it seemed like more.
Seemed like more than 65,000?
To me, yeah, that's
Isn't that kind of excessive?
love is an excessive thing.
Can you understand why people think this is a little bit out there?
Oh yeah.
Are you a crazy person?
No.
Tell us, who are you? Like, what do you want?
I'm the person that discovered love, the equation to light. Einstein discovered the equation to light is E equals mc squared. To finish that equation, everything we see is made out of light, everything, and the composition of the light that it's made out of.
Jackie, some of those messages don't sound like love, they sound like threats.
When you're finding love, not everything is perfect. This was a journey, and I wanted to apologize because nobody would ever be more sorry.
Would you have really hurt him?
No. I love him. So the rest of the equation is L equals 3.3. L equals 3.3 times E equals mc squared, and that's the equation of eternal.
The entire situation just goes to show that you never really know who you're actually meeting up with on dating sites. There's no one walking into your next real-world nightmare. Thank you. Number 10. Mysterious Swings. Jamie Sinclair's shell with her friend and her dog, and she recorded some weird things. She looks at this yesterday and said he's moving on is so as she gets closer we get notice some things that make this video even more mysterious. Okay, so the obvious answer is that it's the wig. Right, wrong. Look at this road next to stationary. Meaning to tell you that the wind is strong enough to push this away, but not this row. I don't think so. For her and so all around this way. So I'm not acting like her friends couldn't have pushed it and then acted surprised. But the point is, there's no way to tell for sure, and even the smallest chance of paranormal activity is still crazy to think about.